Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Dual Hearts. We are still in Toma's dream. We've got a little bit left to do before we can leave and move on with the main plot of the game. We're back up where we knocked down the 4 balloons containing 2 pieces of dream energy and the 2 gold Esmons because we have one last thing to take care of. Let's pull out our remote bomb and knock down this cracked wall. I happened to pass by this. I don't know if you saw this while I was playing in the last episode, but I didn't feel like it was worth going on a tangent just to solve this little mini puzzle. Blow up this wall, and it drops us on the blue star tile. We already took care of the red sun and the yellow moon tiles. There's no green clovers, no purple horseshoes, just these 3. Let's take care of the 3rd one, and that will be our last objective to take care of here in Toma's dream. Although, spoiler alert, it's not exactly all there is to do here. One more bombable wall, and in we go. Alright, 2 more of these Night Stalkers. This is to speed this up because I believe this is the 3rd time we fought these in this dungeon alone. They're really not that interesting. There's 1 gold Esmon here, which is our last collectible that we'll be able to pick up this time. And a few rings to get, which is nice. It should leave us with only 5 or 6 left in the entire level, which I'll pick up on our last visit, which we'll be doing very briefly after we learn how to fly. And there it is. Blue star tile. Now I have to, in case you weren't watching, there are a few spiked globes on the path back to the actual panel we have to drop this on. Basically, the only puzzle here is to make sure that we don't hit one of them by accident, causing us to drop the tile. Pretty straightforward, all things considered. This one moves diagonally back and forth, so as long as you pass by it once, you don't have to worry about it until you turn the corner here. So let's, yeah, there we go. You can kind of see it. The camera, since we're right up against the wall, is a bit difficult to get behind us in such a way that we can see where we're going, but I see, just barely missed right there. That could have been really bad, I suppose. Or bad in the sense I would have to start all over again. Let's hit this. And it gives us a tummy up fragment all the way up there. Wonderful. It's a theme in this game. They're giving us items that we can't actually get to. Gold Esmon, piece of dream energy, there, and a tummy up fragment, and a flight pad. Obviously we can't get any of these items until we can fly. But on top of that, activating the switch actually deactivates the little floating panels we have to activate with the sword charge attack that let us get up here in the first place. So as it turns out, as we turn around and take a look, and there's nothing I can actually get here. As it turns out, not only does this activate a bunch of items we can't get until we can fly, it also completely disables our ability to move around in the level itself. So there's nothing left to do here but make a vain attempt to pick up the items we can't do, and then leave because we can't finish it until we can fly. So let's move on to the main story. Back to Sono Woods, where Lillian has fallen asleep after trying a few too many times to talk to the tree, and has passed out for basically the rest of the game until we actually say hi to her brain. So let's go do that. I'm sure the girl who talks to trees will have a perfectly sane and normal dreamscape. See, there's the tree right there. You can see a bit of a face on it. This is a sunflower. We're playing Boktai, apparently. Kind of looks like the Great Deku Tree from The Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time. This is the first level in the game where we actually get sort of a hint that the nightmares that people are experiencing that act as the bosses of their levels are not just from their own subconscious, but rather like actually corruption from some outside force, like the Black Calamity that we keep hearing about. Anyway, we're being introduced to our dramatis personae, the moon, the rocks, yep, that rock. That rock right there, no other rocks. And the clouds. Our goal is to turn that sunflower into the sun. First, we need the 6 powers of nature. So this level doesn't really have any platforming, it's more or less just thorough exploration. Pretty simple and extremely weird. There's the mountains over there, we can talk to them. You can actually talk to the individual forces of nature in this level, and causes a few problems that we'll see later. You can also pick up all these rings. Check it out. The ground is alive. Oh god. I think I'm freaking out. Look at that face. I love the goofy frog giant mouth face that everything that's an inanimate object in this game has, like the walls of ice in Santa's dream. Anyway, this is a pretty standard combat sequence. You've got these 2 little evil spirit things to kill. They can actually latch onto you and leech away your life energy if they happen to jump, but they're not particularly aggressive. So there's no real concern unless you get really unlucky. This guy, of course, we've killed 8 million times by now, so he's not a threat at all. There's plenty of grass, so we can refill our stomach, our HP off of Bumble's tummy points over and over again. Check it out, there's a shot of him dancing while right next to the Night Stalker. It's like he doesn't even understand what's going on. See, the guy latches onto us, we can sort of wiggle the stick to get him off of us. Of course, part of the problem in this level is that since we can talk to the background objects, like the mountains and the moon, you lock onto almost everything. The background and the foreground. It's very difficult to actually engage in the handful of combat, just because you're liable to lock onto just about anything. Like, the easiest way to beat these areas is to just get the biggest weapon you can find, either the spear or the sword of friendship, and strike at the enemies as best you can without worrying about the lock-on, unless you happen to be lucky like I did just here and stay locked on to the one remaining enemy. Check it out, he actually goes to attack Bumble, it looks like. It's like someone finally noticed he was there while he's dancing around while we're doing all the work. Jeez. Anyway, that's our first combat for the level. We've made the grass happy. Let me tell you, this girl's gotta know all about her grass. Spits out the power of nature. The Sunflower told us that we have to knock it down with the Arbalest, which is the reason basically why we picked up that item as our last holy instrument from Santa's dream. Pick up all these rings. This is actually one of the only levels where you can get all 100 rings in your first run through without having to go back in for like an extension area or repeat visit. Check out this rock. It's apparently alive. What can we do? Nothing? The bomb didn't do anything. We did get a little bit of a reaction. The spear charge attack does absolutely nothing. No, the bomb, nope. Well, we'll have to take care of that later. There must be something we need to trigger in order to actually get this to work. Come on, get out of there. Can't do anything. The area is vaguely square-shaped and a bit loops, as you can see from the arrow that just crossed from the top to the bottom of the mini-map. There's also these stumps, many of which contain items, at least 3 of which contain gold Esmons I'll try to pick up as we move along. There's another one. I think this one contains nothing, actually. Some of them are duds. Yeah, that's a dud. There's one right here. Again, since the area loops, it's very difficult to figure out where you're going. Like, you can't really establish landmarks. But it also means you can't really get, like, impossibly lost, especially if you're paying attention to where you are on the minimap. So, there's the fish. Doesn't look too happy. It's a catfish, apparently. The only fish in the entire river. This is actually what we needed to trigger in order to get the rock to do anything. Take care of the stump while we pass by. Actually, I guess I didn't. Never mind. Let's knock down the power of nature. I guess I was very goal-oriented when I was playing this level. No, don't chew the grass. It's live. You don't want to piss it off, man. Come on, lock on something useful. You have to use the charge attack. The regular attack won't work. We locked on the moon there. No, not good enough. Not the grass. No. Thank you. There we go. Alright, all that work. We are 7.5 minutes into the video, and we just got our first power of nature. What else can we do? We can pick up some more rings. We can talk to the trees. Apparently we're just as crazy as Lillian now that we're here. We can talk to the moon. By the power of the moon, I shall punish you. Moving on. 8 more rings and a crack in the ground. It seems important. I mean, it stands out compared to everything else. Let's go see what's going on. But first, a stump. Oops, wrong item. Need the bomb for this. I believe this is the one that contains the 3rd and final gold Esmon. Nope, never mind. Contains absolutely nothing. What a waste of time. Sigh. Let's get this ring. Anyway, the best thing to do when you see a volcanic crack in the ground is to blow it up. Of course. That made the problem better. Or worse. Or something. Hey, there's a ring behind that tree. Oh man, check out that mountain. He's got like indigestion. Alright. That needs something. Probably. Thankfully the background items, like the mountains, spit out their powers of nature actually into the area, otherwise it would have been really weird to try to figure out like where the heck you would have to go to actually pick them up. You have to get pretty close though, like close to the edge of the level in order to actually see this. Sort of nebulous where it actually appears in relation to the level, considering the mountain never actually shows up, like you can't actually go to it. It's always like off in the distance no matter what you do. What else is there to do? Oops. There's 2 more of these grass things. So let's take care of this second one too. The combat is the same every single time. 2 of the little spirit guys and the Night Stalker. So let's fast forward this the second time. And the 3rd time I don't believe I'll show it at all. Honestly, there's not a lot of variation here. It's just a lot of whacking the guy and then wandering around trying not to get too far, let the spirits get too far away so that you can kill them without them sort of hopping off into the distance. Especially since, again, locking on is quite difficult. Let's, come on, there we go. That should be 3. We're halfway there. Oops. Oh man, of course the grass is on our side. Let's walk across his face. Is the third one over there? Anyway, you can actually see one on the left a bit and one off into the distance. But first, apparently there's a stump, so let's take care of this one last stump. At some point it will in fact be the stump containing the third gold Esmon we can pick up here. There it is. I believe that's actually the last collectible we can pick up before we beat the boss, other than the other 3 powers of nature. This one is not the one we need. This isn't the grass you're looking for. Somewhere around here. I promise. You can see the other 2. First one I guess is long and thin. There we go. This is the one we need. They keep giving us the same tip regarding avoiding the evil spirits. We don't really need it the third time around. You think that they would give us some new dialogue, like the grass would like talk to itself or whatever. I don't know. I've given up trying to like understand the internal logic of this dream in particular. The game itself is already incredibly like absurd. But the important thing is we have our 4th power of nature. Our 4th arbitrary collectible for this level. And I believe we're also done with combat other than the boss. The last 2 powers of nature can be obtained from the forest and from the rock. Let's say hi to the fish again. Yep, the fish will shrivel up and die. He really won't. It's standard RPG logic. He will be exactly fine no matter how long you take to complete this objective, although it's in your best interest not to sit around and waste your time. Of course it looks suspicious. I mean, you can lock onto it. It kind of implies that it's relevant. This is like time 8 million that I'm trying to do something while you can clearly see Bumble dancing in the background, being completely useless. This time the bomb actually works because we had the trigger conversation with the fish. The rock comes to life, and to be fair, he certainly deserved it. Apparently. Like, go figure, the source of the river is here. I mean, the river itself is cyclical, which I'm sure is symbolic in some way, considering the edge of the level wraps around in itself, and you can actually follow it around and around and around the entire way through, looping. In any case, the rock takes responsibility for blocking the flow of the river, and it restores the 5th power of nature. The 6th one is by far the strangest, so let's knock down the 5th and sort of prepare ourselves mentally for one of the weirdest sequences in the entire game. And that's saying something based on what we've been up to so far. Pick that up, there we go, that's 5. For the 6th, we have to talk to the forest as soon as I can find it. I know, suspiciously, like, can't find the one thing I actually want to talk to. Where's the mountain? You have to talk to one of the items in the background. There we go. Okay, yes, it's the mountain. The mountain explodes and sets the forest with gigantic lips on fire. And there's a sheep. Yep, it doesn't want to be barbecued lamb. Of course there's a sheep. We haven't seen a single sheep yet in this level, so they must have been somewhere. Apparently he was hiding out in the background. Ask the cloud to make it rain. That's logical, I suppose. I mean, extremely logical by the standards of this level. What am I locking onto? I don't even know. Hello, Cloud. What do you have to say? Of course, he can't rain, but he's got one of the helmets from Santa's Dream just lying around in his, like, puffy cloud body. Alright, so we have to put the fire out. So we have to light his head on fire with ice. Sure, whatever. Also, this sheep apparently is giving up his life, which is pretty unusual considering nobody's died in this game so far and the sheep have been proven to be, like, practically indestructible. Come on, there we go. Thankfully, the first piece of grass that I cut down had ice Esmon in them, which is pretty unusual. Of course, I completely failed to lock onto one, since I can't lock onto anything that I actually want to in this level. Oh my god, this is so aggravating. Come on. There we go, almost. Yes, there we go. Finally. The second piece of grass also had ice Esmon, amazingly. Let's, go ice him. Chill out, dude. There he goes. Got the frantic music going on. This is really serious, all things considered. Like, this sheep actually dies putting out the forest fire. There's supposed to be some kind of lesson here, I guess, about protecting nature. Like, this game takes this one level incredibly seriously, despite how absolutely ridiculous the whole thing is. Oh my god, the cloud's freaking out. He's got Burning Spirit, Yellow eyes. There it is. That sheep gave his life so that he could acquire the 6th power of nature and pick up the orange key from Lillian's dream, reviving the sun from a sunflower. Story got any more cliched? Yeah, I don't know. Let's knock that down. That should be enough for now. We should get some dialogue right now from the sunflower. Nobody mourns the sheep or anything. I guess they must have pissed us off a little bit too much. Let's hang out, travel back over there. We'll pick up, I believe, the one ring that I missed behind the tree they showed us in that one cutscene when the power of nature was restored to the mountain. There it is. Get that. And I think there might be one in the back. Let's double check. Nope, that's all. Alright, that's all the rings we can get here, so let's knock the sunflower into the sky. It said we had to use the spear. The sword is not good enough, but I want the sword in my offhand. So let's take care of this. Up it goes! And that completes our objective for this episode. I will see you in the next episode of Let's Play Dual Hearts.